Death on the Nile is a 2022 mystery film directed by Kenneth Branagh from the screenplay by Michael Green, based on the 1937 novel of the same name by Agatha Christie. It was produced by Branagh, Ridley Scott, Judy Hofflund and Kevin J. Walsh. The film is a sequel to The Murder on the Orient Express in 2017 and stars Tom Bateman, Annette Bening, Kenneth Branagh, Russell Brand, Ali Fazal, Dawn French, Gal Gadot, Armie Hammer, Rose Leslie, Emma Mackey, Sophie Okonedo, Jennifer Saunders and Letitia Wright. Branagh and Bateman returned from the first film, reprising their roles as Hercule Poirot and Bouc, respectively. The film is the third screen adaptation of Christie's novel, following the 1978 film, and an episode of the television series Agatha Christie's Poirot, broadcast in 2004. Principal photography began in September 2019, with filming taking place at Longcross Studios in England and completed on December of that year. Death on the Nile was the first released in several international markets on the February 9, 2022, in the United Kingdom and United States on February 11th, following several delays due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The film has received mixed reviews from critics who perceived it as being inferior to the previous adaptation, but appreciated the old-fashioned style. The film has grossed $136.2 million against a production budget of $90 million, and a sequel is in development. Now, as discussed, Kenneth Branagh takes on the role of Hercule Poirot, a renowned detective celebrated for his rare deductive skills. Tom Bateman also reprises his role as Bouc, Hercule Poirot's friend and Euphemia's son. The new cast include Annette Bening as Euphemia, a world-renowned painter and Bouc's mother, Russell Brand as Linus Windlesome, a former aristocrat turned doctor and Lynette's former fiancé, Ali Fazal as Andrew Kachikadurian, Lynette's cousin and trustee, Dawn French as Mrs. Bowers, Marie von Schutter's nurse and clandestine lover, Gal Gadot as Lynette Lenny Ridgway Doyle, a wealthy heiress and Simon's wife and Jacqueline's former friend, Armie Hammer as Simon Doyle, Lynette's husband and Jacqueline's former lover, Rose Leslie as Louise Bouquet, Lynette's personal maid, Emma Mackey as Jacqueline Jackie de Belfort, a former friend of Lynette and Simon's scorned lover, Sophie Okonedo as Solomon Otterborn, a renowned jazz singer and Rosalie's aunt, Jennifer Saunders as Marie von Schoffeler, Lynette's godmother and socialite turned communist, Letitia Wright as Rosie Otterborn, Summerlin's niece, business manager, and Lynette's classmate and Bouc's love interest, and Susanna Fielding as Catherine, Poirot's lover who was killed during World War I. Now, I thoroughly enjoyed this old-fashioned styled movie. It took me back to when movies were romantic, grandiose affairs, with epic long shots, setting up awe-inspiring scenes. Now, this is a solidly entertaining film, and Death on the Nile is enlivened by an all-star cast and director star Kenneth Branagh's obvious affection for the source material. While the gamble Branagh takes in digging up Poirot's long-neglected sensitive side may be regarded as sacrilege by some, I somehow feel this works, as it gives Poirot a yearning heart, a softer side, and it makes you just understand this character a little bit more. As Poirot, for me, often in the past, has been somewhat of a distant character, enigmatic and arrogant. The camera whirls giddily and dizzily from sparkle to spectacle as every scene plays out if we were watching actors on stage acting in a rerun of a successful production. This film has pizzazz and a period style to it. I love the use of lighting, and the costumes are to die for, as well as all the sets. And the film is very stylistic, combined with the melodrama and the script's modified take on Christie's plot. It remains intriguing to the end, even if some of the supposedly Egyptian backdrops look somewhat phony and poorly rendered with bad CGI. Some of the acting can be hammy at times, but I almost feel this was done intentionally, as it plays out like a play, with over-the-top, overly dramatic acting from a cast who have been around long enough to know when to push forward and when to hold back. Obviously, seeing Armie Hammer in what may be his last film for a while leaves you somewhat uncomfortable in light of the claims of sexual abuse that have been made against Hammer, including claims of non-consensual BDSM, rape, and physical and emotional abuse. And in some way, this role proves quite oddly realistic. Overall, I enjoyed the cast for most of it. It was kind of odd seeing Russell Brand in such an understated role. I also particularly enjoyed seeing French and Saunders on my screen once again, and Gal Gadot is somewhat believable as Lenny Ridgway Doyle. I did particularly enjoy, though, Emma Mackey's take on Jacqueline de Belfort. She seems to capture an understanding of this complicated character pretty well. Now, once you look past Branagh's very over-the-top French accent, you look at a man that is playing a role that obviously he really loves and has a lot of respect for. Branagh makes Poirot believable, and as you let yourself escape, you become more and more entranced in this movie and begin to enjoy it further. The film surpassed my expectations going into it, as I found it a light-hearted escapism, albeit with some heavier turns. All in all, it's good old-fashioned entertainment, and that's, at the end of the day, is what it's about. Death on the Nile gets a 7.5 out of 10.